Welcome to Introduction to Economic Theory. This course is designed for international relations students who need to learn more basic economics in order to be more successful in their master's work. I know some of you have probably had bad experiences with beginning economics, and that is why you're taking this class. Many freshmen and sophomores that I've talked to don't like their economic classes and are mystified by it, and perhaps they don't like the large lecture format that often they're subjected to when they take this class. Economics is a complicated discipline. It requires students both to do qualitative analysis and political analysis, with which you are all familiar, but also do more deductive mathematical type analysis. In this class, we're not going to be using sophisticated mathematical tools, but I do expect you to have some knowledge of basic geometry and basic algebra in order to get through some of our economic models. I have designed the course so that I can test you both in terms of qualitative analysis and more mathematical quantitative analysis. In this way, I hope to see you can use your own skills to do well in this class. Now, this class looks at how humans organize material life. And so we're going to look at small issues or micro issues, looking at individual markets. And we're also going to look at big issues or macroeconomic issues related to economic growth and economic stabilization. Now, I came to economics in sort of a peculiar way. When I was an undergraduate at the University of Michigan in the late 1960s, I was interested in South Asia, and I studied Indian history and South Asian history. I had the opportunity as a junior to go to India in 1969 and 70. It was a very different world than it is today. There was no internet, there was no television, there wasn't even really phone service. And so I escaped from my parents for a year and communicated with them by mail. And it was this experience that got me interested in economics, because I was confronted in what a society that I found very stimulating, but I was confronted with some terrible issues of poverty and looking at the way people lived. That was very different from the way I had experienced life in the United States. I had a very stimulating professor who got me interested in the issues of agriculture and poverty, and as a result, I determined when I went back to the University of Michigan to complete my history degree and then move on to economics. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to study in Cambridge, England for 2 years in the early 1970s, and I received another bachelor's degree, but this time in economics. I had the opportunity to be an undergraduate twice, which actually was quite a lot of fun. I then moved on in the early 1970s to the University of California at Berkeley to pursue a doctorate in economics. I studied issues related to international competition and international conflict. And I've written a book on issues related to the economic theories of imperialism. I've also written an economic history book on the post-war occupation of Germany after World War II and the economic issues and political issues that the U.S. Army confronted when they occupied German territories, a country that was very advanced but devastated by the destructions of World War II. Since the 1990s, I've been studying the Arab world, and I'm presently working on a book associated with the development of the higher education system in the Gulf countries called the GCC, in particular the country of Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman. In this course, I hope you come to a much deeper understanding of economic issues and how it is that market systems work. Once you come to this understanding, you will be much better prepared to think about issues of policy and how economic policy and political economic policy can help make the world a better place and change economies so that they function more successfully.